FC Barcelona is considering playing La Liga matches at Camp Nou and Champions League matches at Montjuic. FC Barcelona is seriously considering signing Eda Young and loaning him out. No agreement has yet been reached with the player or Villarreal, but his release clause is said to be €5 million. Christensen has been called up to the Danish national team for the upcoming international break. If Maffeo leaves Mallorca, the number one option to replace him is Hector Fort. Rafinha has been included in Brazil's squad for the World Cup qualifying matches against Chile and Bolivia. Lewandowski has worked very hard in training. He feels ready to start against Rayo Vallecano. UEFA visited Camp Nou and issued a positive report. Isak Peña will extend his contract with FC Barcelona before joining Elche on loan. The clubs are currently checking the final documents of the agreement. Hansi Flick is satisfied with the current squad, but FC Barcelona does not rule out a departure if a player asks to leave. Players who want to train at the Sports City today, despite it being a rest day: Lewandowski, Isak Peña, De Jong, Ferran Torres, and Pedri. Dani Olmo is currently only temporarily registered in La Liga, pending a court hearing. If the decision goes against FC Barcelona, he will no longer be registered. FC Barcelona is closely following Argentine talent Ian Subieber, 18 years old. The player has a contract until 2028 with a €30 million release clause. Hansi Flick sees Gerard Martin as an important player to replace Bald on the left and also as an option in central defense after Inigo Martinez's departure. Lucas Vazquez is joining Bayer Leverkusen. He arrives as a free agent after leaving Real Madrid. Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. were victims of racist abuse in Oviedo. Two fans were making monkey noises at them. An agreement has been reached between Dani Ceballos and Olympique de Marseille. The agreement between the two clubs is still being finalized. Ceballos has already given his approval to the French club. Carlo Ancelotti: why didn't I call up Rodrygo? I like him a lot. Yesterday, he played very well with Real Madrid. It was his first match after a long absence, so he still needs time to recover and return to the national team. A player who plays for the national team must be at full fitness. That's a very important criterion. If a player is not at 100%, I can call up another one without a problem. Santi Cazorla: Real Madrid is the best club in the history of football. Camavinga recently rejected a huge offer from Saudi Arabia. He wants to recover quickly and play for Real Madrid. Rodrygo is Liverpool's priority if the Alexander Isak deal falls through. Liverpool can afford the €100 million that Real Madrid is asking. Real Madrid is looking to sign a midfielder if Dani Ceballos leaves. Real Madrid is asking between €15 and €20 million for Dani Ceballos, either as a permanent transfer or a loan with a mandatory purchase clause. Kylian Mbappe is officially the penalty and free kick taker at Real Madrid. Thiago Pidarch could be Dani Ceballos' replacement at Real Madrid. Rodrygo has asked his agents to explore a new destination for him this summer, but the clubs interested in him got the impression he is not fully convinced about leaving Real Madrid. If Vinicius Jr. wanted to renew his contract, he could do so whenever he wishes, but his financial demands seem impossible for the club to meet. Everything will depend on how the season develops. One thing is certain: he will never leave for free. It's a complicated operation. Last season, some voices in the dressing room considered Mbappe shy. This season, his attitude on the pitch has completely changed. He can now be considered one of the team's great leaders, perhaps the greatest. Despite the difficulties in registering their players, Getafe has started the season with 2 wins out of 2. Getafe continues its strong start to the season and adds more doubt to Sevilla FC's ranks. Harry Kane of Bayern Munich is considered the perfect signing for FC Barcelona in the summer of 2026 by sporting director Deco. They see Kane as the perfect replacement for Robert Lewandowski. Crystal Palace is considering re-signing Conor Gallagher, a narrow win for Athletic Club at San Mamés. Villarreal CF is on track to sign Arnaud Tenas from PSG. The young Spanish goalkeeper, who has a contract until 2026, could join the Yellow Submarine before the end of the transfer window. Real Betis and Manchester United are currently in talks to finalize the transfer of Antony. All parties are confident about reaching an agreement soon. The Brazilian could thus make his big return to Spain. Aymeric Laporte's return to Athletic Club is taking shape. FC Barcelona has obtained the license certificate confirming that construction work at Spotify Camp Nou is completed. Barcelona's City Hall will visit the site tomorrow. The club plans to return to the stadium on September 14th. Vinicius Jr. was unhappy about being on the bench against Oviedo. He didn't understand why Xabi Alonso hadn't told him beforehand. Exceptional drama between Newcastle and Liverpool. The Premier League is already spoiling us. The Reds had a 2-goal lead, Newcastle were down to 10. But the Magpies came back and equalized. In the end, young Gumaha gave Liverpool the win at the death. Ekatike scored his 3rd goal in 3 games for the Reds. What a match. Olympique de Marseille has opened talks with Bournemouth for a loan with a purchase option for Haim Junior Traore. The midfielder is attracted by the OM project. Inter Milan started the season in style. A 5-0 win against Torino. Marcus Thuram scored twice. New signing Angione Boni also scored just 5 minutes after coming on. Bayer Leverkusen has not reached an agreement with OGC Nice for Jonathan Klaus. Negotiations have stopped, and the deal seems unlikely. The German club considers the Frenchman's price tag too high. Tyler Dibbling signs for Everton. Transfer fee, €48 million plus a resale clause for Southampton. Negotiations between Napoli and Manchester United are in the final stages for a loan deal with a purchase option that becomes mandatory. Talks also took place yesterday with Rasmus Højlund and his camp regarding personal terms, with Napoli and Antonio Conte pushing to get it done. Memphis Depay is considering leaving Corinthians. 3 European clubs have approached the forward, who has scored 33 goals over the past 11 months. Wilfried Singo is joining Galatasaray. The central defender has agreed with the Turkish club. Negotiations with AS Monaco are advanced for a transfer of around €30 million. Emerson Palmieri is reportedly close to Olympique de Marseille. The Italian left-back would arrive as a free agent from West Ham. The parents of Jude and Joe Bellingham expressed their anger toward Dortmund. Reason: Joe being subbed off at halftime against St. Pauli on Saturday. They even entered the stadium tunnels, which are off-limits, to confront the staff. Jobe's father, who is also his advisor, then demanded a meeting with Niko Kovac. Bukayo Saka out for 3 to 4 weeks. Hamstring injury. He will miss the clash against Liverpool in the Premier League. Piero Hincapié wants to leave Bayer Leverkusen before the end of the summer transfer window. Premier League clubs are keeping an eye after Tottenham showed interest 10 days ago. Release clause available, €60 million. Como are in talks with Real Madrid to renegotiate the terms of the Spanish club's options on Nico Paz. Adrian Rabiot's reintegration at Olympique de Marseille depends on an apology from him. The club mainly expects a firm stance, regret, and even condemnation of his entourage's comments. Olympique de Marseille is still working on the Eden Zagrova deal. The Kosovo international wants to join. Juventus is no longer making progress on the matter. Isak is a rat. Shirts were seen outside St. James Park before Newcastle Liverpool. Agreement Nicholas Jackson, Bayern Munich. The Bavarians are negotiating a loan deal with Chelsea. Tottenham making a big push for Piero Hincapié. Loan offer with a €60 million obligation to buy. Olivier Giroud says no to a return to the French national team, but doesn't completely close the door. Some people have started talking to me about France again. No, as I said, I received a wonderful tribute in March. I was very touched. For me, it's over. Now, never say never. But I know there are great talents coming through, young players pushing. It's their turn to write their story. I've done my part. Now it's up to them. Rio Ngumaha is the second youngest player ever to score a winning goal in the Premier League, one day older than Wayne Rooney, who did it against Arsenal in 2002. Kobbie Mainoo has told Manchester United he wants to leave the club this summer. Piero Hincapié is very attracted by Arsenal's project. 5 Premier League clubs are targeting Kobbie Mainoo. Tottenham, Brighton, Chelsea, Fulham, and Brentford.